What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN, USD. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, all right? It is the 19th day of October. Here we are at about $0.009 right now, 10 hours and 6 minutes left in the day on Coinbase here. I feel giddy. Giddy. I think that's the right word for it, giddy. We've been through it, guys. We've been through it. We've taken our licks. We've been patient. Our faith has been tested, and I'm giddy because I think we're about to see the rewards of that. The fruits of this labor of emotional duress and boredom is, I think, about to come to an end. We're about to see the light at the end of this tunnel. I really do. And maybe I'm pump drunk off of KTA because, I recently did buy KTA. I also, OnyxCoin and KTA are my most recent purchases. They are. And maybe I'm just pump drunk off of this, but call me crazy. I think that we are mature in this range. I think if we look at this on a weekly time frame, it seems as though we have a nice formation for a W to set up. And you guys know how it is with W's, right? Right? Do you know? Let me tell you how it is. All right. So typically with the W, and it depends on where it starts here. I would think this W started all the way back here, right? But I think clearly because of this reaction, it's clear that this is not where the W started, or at least not where the pattern is respecting it. I think the W started here because we went, typically with Ws, you do go above where it starts. Okay, and I would think here, from your stopping point of this drop, that might be the starting point of your W, and that'd make a lot of sense just based on where you stopped here. All I'm trying to say is if you look at the relationship, you see this side of the W versus this side, which one is faster, right? This side is faster. And that's very typical. Same thing of M patterns, right? If you have an M pattern, typically it's the second leg that is, or the last leg that is the fastest. The first leg might be fast, but the second or the last leg is the fastest. If we're in this W pattern here, this might be fast, but this leg is going to be faster, right? Typically, that's what you expect to see, is that it's faster. And not only that, but if this is a W, and I mean, it looks like a W to me. Yes, it's slanted, but that's okay. It can be slanted. W's can be slanted. That's fine. Looks like a W to me. If it is a W, then we should at a minimum expect prices that are above this high, right? You're gonna move at a very fast pace until you're above this high. Now, does that mean that you stop there? No. You might consolidate and then continue to rally. But I think that we're going to continue to pump. And after doing my analysis on Bitcoin today, maybe until January, right? Perhaps. And I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not trying to hurt my own feelings, and I'm definitely not trying to hurt my calls here. But perhaps this 26 to 32 cent area is reserved for January, because I do think that Bitcoin's going to be at these high points in January. However, with that being said, it is the middle of October. We have November and December, and then we're in the middle of December. So until the end of December, that's 2.5 months effectively. 2.5 months left in this year. OnyxCoin only needed 2 weeks to pull a 20x. It might only need 2 weeks now. You know what I mean? Like who's to say? And maybe it moves at 3 times the pace. Maybe it takes 3 times as long. Okay, I shouldn't say 3 times the pace. A third of the pace. Maybe it takes 3 times as long. Is that right? Would that be appropriate? I don't know. To see that same growth. But even then, by the end of the year, I think it's still very attainable that we could see 26 to 32 cents. I'm just saying if we're lining up where I think this move is going to take us, which the top I believe is going to be at 26 to 32 cents, and we're lining that up with where I think Bitcoin's going to top off, I think that's going to be in January. And I don't think that's where its all-time high is going to be. I just think that's where the next topping point is going to be, and in which case we might see altcoins top off a little bit before or likely a little bit after that, right? January was really good to us this year. Might it be good to us in 2026 as well? But either way, I do believe that we're going to see a rapid recovery here. We've got this W pattern set up, and that should at least be good for a move that would take us to about 8.2 cents to 15.7 cents. We did the math. We did the nitty gritty. We made sense out of all the price targets that possibly could make sense that are below our target areas, and the minimum price that we could come up with was like 10 cents. If we're not above 10 cents, and likely we're going to be above that, but even there from this current price, that's over a 10x. So anybody buying here, you're having 10x potential, 11x potential, more than that even, because again, this is just this area, the only sensible area that really made sense for this move to stop at a bare minimum, is the bare minimum, right? The maximum isn't even here. The maximum as far as what makes sense, and we're not even being crazy, just stuff that makes sense, is like 37 to 40 cents. If we wanted to be crazy, we could make sense easily out of 53 cents and stuff like that, but those are moon boy targets. Inevitably, we're going to get there, but just not by the end of the year. I don't think so, right? I think feet on the ground, more likely we're going to be somewhere around 26 to 32 cents by the end of December, if not at least 15 cents. That'd be my guess. But from here, again, giddy is the word that I'm using, because I just feel like we're about to see everything that we've wanted out of this coin come to life. I really do believe that. I hope everybody is staking. I hope you're all getting your rewards. Your coins are working for you, right? Imagine you're holding shares of a company, a stock, and it pays dividends, but you are just opting out of the dividends. Everybody else is getting them, but you're opting out of it. That's effectively what's happening if you're not staking here, right? It's not quite the same thing, but effectively it's how I would compare it, right? There's a little bit more to staking than there is in just receiving dividends, but more or less all it is like a two-step process to stake. It's very simple. It's very easy. Anybody can do it. If you're thinking in your head that you can't do it, it's too complicated, my words of advice would be you can do it. It's not complicated. It's very easy. You just got to send your funds from your Coinbase account to your Coinbase wallet or MetaMask wallet or Onyx wallet, whatever the case may be. And that's scary. Anytime, and not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but anytime that you're sending funds from one place to another, especially with new wallets, do a test amount. Send $1. If it gets there, if it takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you're nervous, why didn't it get there? Well, good thing it's just $1, right? You don't have to worry as much. And then whenever it gets there, you know, okay, cool, this is the right address, it works. Now whenever I send $10,000 or $100,000 or $500, whatever the case might be, whatever a lot of money is to you, whenever you send that, you're not going to be as worried because you know that the $1 transaction went through, so therefore you know that the address checks out, everything's fine. Send test amounts. Always send test amounts, okay? Always, always, always. I do it. You guys, oh man, I'm on a whole different detour here, but I'm going to look you in the eyes. I am so to the book with this stuff. It's annoying. I hate it. Every time that I have to send a transaction, send coins to a new wallet address, I always do test transactions. And every single time I get the texts, the emails that I have to validate who I am. I have to go in and log in and all these things. It's a pain in my ass just to do a test transaction. Then I got to send the real thing. But it's good practice. Do that. It should be a pain in the ass. Because if it's a pain in the ass for you to send even a test transaction from one wallet to another, it's going to be a pain in the ass for anybody who's trying to hack you or steal from you, right? And that you want all these indicators, all these double, triple authentications going off so that you're not, so that nobody else has an easy time, right? It should be a pain in the ass. I'm just saying though, good practice. Always send test transactions. You will never lose money that way. Right? The people who lose money, the people who lost their Bitcoins forever, they did not send test transactions. You know what I mean? Anyways, getting back to work here, enough shenanigans. 1 hour time frame here, not a lot of volume. It's the weekend. We're not going to hold it against you, OnyxCoin. You're moving up slowly, moving up oh so slowly. This isn't typical of a bottom for OnyxCoin, but we'll take it. We'll take it. You're not really in typical circumstances right now, are you? In all fairness, there is a gap down here, and OnyxCoin typically does fill its gaps, so there is a strong chance that we could go back down to 0.0872, and if things go the way I think they will with Bitcoin, if we do push back down here, maybe we get a higher low or a lower low or a double bottom, whatever the case may be. Maybe that's OnyxCoin's moment to clear out this gap here. You might be looking and being like, what gap? I don't see a gap. Let me explain. The price on the 1 hour time frame closed here. The next hour, it opened up here. There's a gap. Technically, because you wicked down, there's a gap right here between those two white lines. There's a gap right there, right? Between this closing point here. The price closed here, and then it opened up here. You never filled this space here. So perhaps you have to come back down. You know, this is on Coinbase. I would think that you would have to come down before we move higher. So don't be phased by that if that happens. Don't count on it either, though. These gaps are not prophecies. They're not requirements. You don't have to go down there. It's just statistically speaking, you do fill basically every single one of them. Looking at the indicators on the 1 hour time frame, the RSI is bullish At the moment, it is bullish. You're holding support at the 50. You're actually just above the 50 for the most part. And then anytime you get below the 50, you're coming back up. I don't like that we're finding so much resistance and turbulence at the 60. Hold on real quick. My daughter's 6, so I was just making sure that she was okay. She was walking out, going to the bathroom, and making sure that she doesn't need me. Anyways, stochastics. We do have bearish divergence on the stochastics, in all fairness. The MACD is bullish, but who cares? It's the 1 hour time frame. Again, don't get so attached. I do believe, and again, I'm really am excited for the coming days, the coming weeks. I think we're going to see some fierce retribution to the upside. I really do believe that's what's coming. But if at first what we do is we come down or we find a double bottom, we even find a lower low, it's okay. It's okay. Don't get discouraged, right? I'm very bullish, and there's a lot of reasons for that, right? We have the FOMC meeting announcement coming up in 10 days from now. I would assume that the whole market's moving up in that time, and I think OnyxCoin will definitely be a top performer in this move up. At least that's what we're looking for. But before that happens, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, between the next 24 hours, 36 hours, we could see a little bit of turbulence still. So just be aware of that, okay? And it's okay if we do. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we just move up through the roof. I hope I'm wrong. Let's move up. Let's do that. My most favorite troll, it's ingrained in my head today, to this day. It was for a different crypto. It was for Bitcoin Cash. But my favorite quote from a troll was, when I called for Bitcoin Cash to go lower, or no. Actually, I called for it to go higher, and then Bitcoin Cash went higher than I expected it to go, and in a shorter amount of time. And this troll asked, "Are you okay? Oh, it went up faster than you expected. Are you okay? Haha." And it's like, oh yeah, at the time, Bitcoin Cash was my biggest bag. I'm like, yeah, my biggest bag pumped more than I thought it did, more than I thought it would, and it was faster than I thought it would, and I was wrong. Yes, I'm okay. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I get the same kind of comments. I'm calling for OnyxCoin to be a little dicey here. Maybe it sees a lower low. Maybe we see a slightly higher low where, we could see a little shaking out a little bit before we move higher. I hope we just rip through the roof. I hope in the next hour we're up above 2 cents. And then I get some smart ass comments like that. Yeah, I'm okay. I would prefer that. I would like to be wrong in that sense. But it's whatever. 4 hour time frame here as far as the RSI goes. We do have bullish divergence, which is nice, but we've seen that move already play out. We don't have to move higher from here. We are at an area where we found resistance before. We could move up a little bit and then find resistance. Stochastics look bearish, or bullish. They look bullish here, but you also have found resistance here, so in that sense it might be bearish. It's a lot of maybe this, maybe that, isn't it? All I feel confident about is that we're at a low point. Looking at the daily time frame, looking at the weekly time frame, I'm very confident that we're at a low point. That anybody who's buying OnyxCoin here, they're not going to be upset, even if we go a little bit lower. Like, who cares, right? Nobody's going to be upset with it here. This thing, over the coming weeks, mark my words, it's going to be a force to be reckoned with. We're going to see some prices that we haven't seen in a very long time. So I'm very excited to see that all happen. I don't really have anything else that I want to say. I think I've said it all. So if you guys like the video, hit the like button, subscribe. Take care of yourselves. The next target areas to pay attention to, again, if and when we get above 1.4 cents, breaking out above this zone here, I should even say, let's say 1.35 cents. Getting above that zone is key in breaking out and moving higher. Once we get above 2 cents, that area is also very critical. Once you get above 2 cents, I think at that point things should really be taking off, and then the target areas to expect in this order will be 8.2 cents, 10.7 cents, 15.7 cents, and then 26 to 32 cents, that area there, right? And when I say targets, I don't mean that this is, we're going to stop here. That's not a target to stop at and consolidate, and then we move up later. That's just the first point. We might find some turbulence here. We might find turbulence at various levels while we're on our path higher, but inevitably, again, I think that we're going to see prices up here. At a minimum, we'll see something at about 15 cents. 11 cents to 15 cents. That makes the most sense at a minimum. But I got nothing else. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Hit the like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves, all right? And bye-bye.